the fate?
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me when you're from Memphis.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network, where we discuss film, TV, and all things Hollywood here on the show. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined again by my trusty elf, Devin, since we're in the midst of the holiday season. And today we're here to give our thoughts on the latest miniseries to hit Disney Plus, and that is Hawkeye.
Disney Plus and these penultimate episodes, just heat always.
Yeah, but yeah, it is all good. But yeah, we're going to talk about episode 5 of Hawkeye, which is titled Ronin. It's very, very mysterious, very ominous, just Ronin. We don't really know too much about Ronin besides a few things here and there. But before we begin today's show, you can listen to our podcast on platforms around the internet. If you're a new or seasoned listener to the show, we'd love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. Devin, you know what date it is?
Hump Day.
Yeah, no, it's Wednesday, my dude. Yeah, it's also Hump Day. So yeah, happy Hump Day, everyone. Happy Wednesday, middle of the week. Crazy, crazy stuff. Can't believe it at all. But yeah, how have you been, man? How's your week been? You excited to watch some Spider-Man this week?
Yes, it's been a long week, just trying to get through it and then have next week off. So close.
So how have you been dodging spoilers?
I feel like it just comes down to luck. Like there's only so much you can do before a random tweet just comes by and it's just out of your control.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, luckily, at least for me, I drove all the way down to Atlanta, which is only 4 hours for me. But yes, I did see it. No spoilers whatsoever. I don't want to take away anything from anyone because I wouldn't want somebody doing that to me. It would have been terrible. But I really, really enjoyed it. That's just my initial reaction. Definitely the best comic book movie of the year. And it is a Spider-Man movie. That's all I've ever wanted it to be. And that's just my first nice little initial thoughts on that. So definitely go check it out. It hits theaters December 16th. Well, technically the 17th, but there's early previews on the 16th there. So yeah, there goes my nice little roundup. First, my initial reactions here on the show. So definitely watch it. I'm going to go watch it again on Thursday. And of course, we're going to be dropping our review here on the show. And actually, just to let you guys know, before we get into our Hawkeye review, we're actually going to be giving you 2 different reviews for Spider-Man. We're going to be giving a non-spoiler or spoiler-free, however you want to say it, no spoilers type episode on the day that it drops. And then the Monday following is when we will drop our spoiler-heavy coverage of Spider-Man No Way Home. But today we are here talking about some more Hawkeye. You ready, bro? Or are you ready, bro? You ready?
The bro count has been decreasing every episode.
It really has been. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's on the truck.
Yeah,
trust the bro.
Trust the bro. You always, if you can't trust the bro, where do you go?
To Ronin.
To Ronin, for sure. All right, Devin, are you ready to get into our Hawkeye episode 5 review?
Oh yes, it's a big one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into our Hawkeye episode 5 review, titled again Ronin. Sweet, short, and simple, to the point. And we'll be right back with our Hawkeye review right after this short break.
Can I tell you a secret? I'm working with an Avenger.
Can I speak to your manager?
Didn't realize you were supposed to bring guns.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our Hawkeye episode 5 review, getting everyone into the Christmas spirit. I love playing that nice little snippet to get us launch us into the review. It puts you in the Christmas mood. Devin, have you been watching any Christmas movies at all?
I have not yet.
Devin.
This is good enough for me. Some Christmas Hawkeye.
Well, do you have any Christmas movies that you usually watch throughout the year?
I mean, I don't really put them on. I mean, if they're on, I'll watch them. Like, obviously, Elf's a big one. Christmas Story, the classics, Home Alone, 1 through 3. Never forget 3.
Never forget. Thank you.
And never watching the new one.
No, I've heard it's not good. I don't know if I want to watch it, but I definitely have my my Christmas movies that I watch. I started watching them. I only got through one of them so far. Well, if you don't count Harry Potter, but of course, Sorcerer's Stone. I started watching Happiest Seasons, so there was that. Finished that up, I think like last week. So I got a few more to get through. Got to watch Klaus. It's a big one. Got to watch Little Women, 2019 Greta Gerwig's version, of course, and a few more in there for sure. But yeah. Oh, actually, I heard A Boy Called Christmas is really good on Netflix, I believe. So definitely got to watch that as well, and get into some little Witcher action later on. But Devin, again, we're here talking about Hawkeye. We're not talking about Christmas. Well, we're talking about Christmas, but not that kind of Christmas stuff. Hawkeye is a Christmas show. So we're going to be talking about Hawkeye episode 5. My gosh, we're almost at the end of the line here, Devin. It's the penultimate episode of Hawkeye. And man, oh man, we've gotten a nice little mix so far. I think it's been a very interesting and fun journey. And with this episode, so good. It was good, but I have one small gripe, but we'll get into it before once we get into spoilers. But for now, Devin, give me your initial thoughts on Hawkeye episode 5.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. I mean, just the opener itself was incredible. I just can never get enough of Florence Pugh as Yelena. Seeing her, what she went through before this series and before we get to reintroduce her, is just amazing to see. Very similar to another character that we saw in WandaVision. Another amazing scene that they did. And then just going through it, there's a couple pretty important reveals we got. We'll talk about those in spoilers, but there's some good action scenes as well. And I mean, it's all set up so well for the finale next week, and I'm just excited to see where they go.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. It has been a crazy ride. Honestly, when I watched it this morning, like it runs about 44 minutes. That's about the run time for this one. And like you said, we got some great reveals. We got a nice little dinner table dialogue scene. And then, it was kind of like not even half exposition and then like half of it was action. It was just a really good like you said, it was a really good setup for the season finale. I don't feel like a lot needs to happen in this whole, this Christmas journey. It is only 6 episodes. And, with episode 5, we get a lot of questions answered, but it's more so that it brings up questions that we haven't really thought about before. And we'll definitely, like we said, we'll get into that with spoilers, but I had a great time. The action was great. The dialogue, just the interactions between all
the macaroni scene, we'll call it. Yes.
The macaroni scene was beautiful. And it was just a ray of sunshine. I absolutely loved it. We see Kate kind of wrestling with her and her emotions, and it seems like this is a show about forgiveness, which is what Christmas and the holidays is all about, family, friends, but mainly I would say forgiveness, especially this episode. There are a lot of different grudges going on, a lot of just kind of holding those like gripes against each other, and not knowing how to forgive one another in a way. But it's a very touching episode, especially the first, let's say, 22 minutes. There's Kate has a fantastic scene with one of the characters, and I'm sorry, I'm I'm trying so hard. No, I'm practicing to like not talk about spoilers because it's just my initial reactions. But overall, like for initial reactions thus far, it's been great. It has been a lot of fun. And like you say, we get a few nice little reveals there, and a few returning characters that I didn't really think they were going to end back up in this episode. But I've been trying to like piece out through like the promotional material. This one, like depending on what shots they've shown us, like there's a few things we still haven't seen yet, which I'm assuming is going to happen in the season finale. But I think they've done a good job like keeping things under wraps, for the most part, as much as I can. But it's it's more so about the reveals, and but the story is interesting. It's just it's gonna open up. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of like wow moments. This came out this week, and then Spider-Man No Way Home drops this this week too. So I don't know if Marvel, which one takes place after the other. Like, does No Way Home start first, or does Hawkeye, the events of it? But I have an idea, but I'm not going to say. But Devin, are you ready to get into our spoilers here?
Oh yeah, it's time. Hawkeye spoilers, of course.
Come on.
Just gotta make sure.
All right, we're talking about some Spider-Man No Way Home spoilers here. Yes. Of course, we're going to be talking about Hawkeye spoilers. So, dang it. Every time, I really got to change that button. That is your first spoiler warning for Hawkeye episode 5. Again, that is your second warning for Hawkeye episode 5. I apologize, everyone. I'm feeling a little bit off today, but I don't know why. Maybe it's because I just can't stop thinking about Spider-Man No Way Home. So, and that's probably it. But man, oh man, it was a long drive, man. 4 hours there, 4 hours back. Dedication. It sucks I couldn't bring a guest. Definitely would have brought you with me, but yeah, it is what. Maybe next time for maybe the Batman. I don't know. But Devin, man, oh man. Yelena, we finally get some, we saw her in last.
This opening scene was so good. Just like Monica Rambeau, just seeing all these perspectives of the blip and what it was like. This is our first time seeing what it was like for someone who actually got blipped. Like she dissolves, disappears, and then the next second she's back 5 years later. Like that's how it works. It's insane to think about that. Like she was in the bathroom and then she walked out and it was 5 years. Just like that.
Yeah, because so in 2018, and it makes a lot more sense now because so many people were wondering, well, why didn't Natasha just give up her life like that? It's like, well, she did have a family in the Avengers, but it makes more sense now because it
makes even more sense why she sacrificed herself, because she thought she didn't even have a sister anymore.
Yeah, and she knew that would probably be the only chance of bringing her sister back would be for her to, sacrifice herself for her to continue living her life. So, yeah, and I've heard a lot of people said that towards Black Widow. They're like, oh, like it only makes sense if Yelena was dusted, and it's like, yeah, it does. But I really like the transition that they made. Like we got to see, like you said, we got to see it from a person who was blipped point of view when it comes to like, it seems like it's been like a second and then it's like, hey, it's been 5 years. And it's like, what? Like obviously the same woman still lives there, but things have changed and she's a little freaked out. And, it's like coming out of a coma, but not really at the same time. It's like leaving the room. It's like going down the street, coming back and finding that your old, neighborhood has like advanced or like changed within the last 5 years. It's crazy stuff.
I also like the similarities between this and their macaroni scene, where it's kind of like Yelena is trying to protect the other female character because she thinks the man that she's with is up to no good, but it just ends up being that they're choosing this life, and maybe the guy they're with is doing good, like Hawkeye.
But yeah, definitely. Let's talk about the macaroni scene for sure. It is Great piece of
So
dialogue.
good. Such good writing.
So good writing. Like, just, it's not even like the snappy like comebacks, and you can really see how Yelena, she, after Jack has been arrested, we find that out, and then all that happens, and I felt like something weird was going on there, because her mom, she comes home, and her mom's like, oh, worried about Kate tells her what's happening, with Hawkeye, like, hey, he essentially, quote unquote, I guess you can say, let me go type of thing, and he told me to go home. It's it's like the scene in my gosh, The Incredibles, where it's Buddy and Mr. Incredible, and Buddy's trying to like help out and stuff, and then Mr. Incredible's like, go home, buddy, I work alone. Kind of reminding me of that scene a little bit. It may not be one to one, but the message is still the same. So all that happens, and she like kind of Kate kind of pleads her mom to look into Jack's tie-in with the Truster Bros, the Russian mob, the tracksuits, and it just seems, something seems off. And then we find out, when the macaroni scene happens, they have this great piece of dialogue where, you see Kate, obviously she's so fond of Hawkeye. She looks up to him in every way possible. And you can kind of see that they have like that general understanding in a way. But as soon as Kate learns, oh, like, why are you looking for Hawkeye? And then Yelena is like, oh, I'm going to kill him. And she's like, oh. And then the whole thing shifts, and Yelena thinks that, for some reason, Yelena thinks that that Hawkeye kind of just up and like not necessarily killed Natasha, but was responsible for her death. It's like, I mean, technically, yes, but he did try to throw himself under the bus versus her. But I don't know. What did you think of that whole scene?
The macaroni scene, I just think it was just such clever writing, because you can see that they're being rational with each other, and they're not just like going at each other's throats. They're actually like hearing each other out, because you can kind of see like when Yelena mentions Hawkeye maybe not being a good guy after all, like you can see Kate's wheels turning, and you can see her trying to think about it and think it through. And then right after that, Kate comes back with, well, Yelena, you should probably think about who's actually hiring you, because they probably aren't very good either. And then you can see Yelena thinking that through, and they're just kind of reasoning with each other and being reasonable humans. And I just love that as characters, because they easily just could have been at each other's throats, just trying to get information and being hostile, but they were actually being adults and contemporaries. And you can see that they just have a connection, and it was just so well done.
Yeah, it's almost as if, people on Twitter or just people online should behave when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's very, like you said, it is a very mature conversation. And like, I mean, it doesn't get like necessarily heated, but it's like you said, they are actually hearing each other out. And, whoever hired, Yelena to make the hit on Clint, which we'll definitely get into here in a bit. It's weird, because there's all these crazy connections, and Yelena's saying, quote unquote, how bad of a man Hawkeye is, but I'm assuming Yelena knows that Hawkeye is Ronin, and when she's talking about that experience when it comes to Ronin, because she's right, Kate doesn't know about everything on Hawkeye's past, but she does at least have the knowledge of, she even says, hey, she's like, Clint's not perfect, but he's a good person. She knows that he's done bad things, and it's very, and she kind of comes back. Well, Kate kind of comes back with, well, Kate comes back with, it's different. Like, Hawkeye's an Avenger. And then Yelena's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, like I should question that.
Yeah, it is a very good question, because it does seem that, I'm not sure if it's a Disney thing, or it just seems that every hero in the MCU is an Avenger. And it's like, okay, well, like, is there, I do feel like I wish there was kind of like a a divide, like there's the Justice League. Like you see it in Young Justice, where there's all the sidekicks, and then there's the Justice League. Like even though they're all heroes, there is that clear divide of the pros and then the adolescents.
Yeah, they're obviously building towards that with Young Avengers.
Yeah, and I'm really I hope we get that soon for sure, because I really like how Florence Pugh was just meant. She comes back with just that, like, well, what does that even mean? Avenger. She's like, that word holds so much power, and then it's like, oh, well, he's an Avenger. That's okay. It's like, oh, you're an Avenger. You saved the world. Go ahead. About your merry way and just do whatever you want, type of thing. And we've seen the repercussions of that, and Civil War, the consequences that that can happen with Sokovia Accords and things like that. So it's a very interesting question, because we've seen with the Avenger, it just seems that even with Shang-Chi, I think they said, oh, like introducing the new Avenger, and it's like, well, he hasn't met the Avengers. I don't even think Shang-Chi knows who. I mean, I'm sure he knows of them, but besides Wong, he hasn't met anyone. So it's very interesting. But I wanted to pass it over to you. I do apologize. I've been talking a lot. Anything you wanted to bring up about the episode?
Yeah, there's just so much going on. I mean, obviously, Hawkeye comes in dressed up as Ronin to go after Maya Echo and just try to reason with her. That was a great scene. It was very Batman-esque. How he's just like destroying these henchmen and like sliding them under cars. And I feel like the Arkham series, where you just hang him up on a like street light, and nobody even notices.
Yeah,
very stealthy of him. And then he's got a nice fight with Echo, and he's trying to talk to her, and he's saying, "Hey, I mean, there's someone on your team that's an informant, and your boss might be the one that put the hit on your dad." So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about that because it's weird, because we're trying to figure out who put the hit on Maya's dad, and then who hired Yelena to go after Clint. And I mean, we're in spoilers right now. So, okay, let me get this right. Kate's mom hired Kingpin to go after Hawkeye.
Well, in the text that shit, it said it was just her mom hired her, straight up.
Okay, so
but she was meeting with Kingpin when Yelena was like stalking her.
Because Yelena texted her and said, "I found out who hired me to do the job."
And then she said Eleanor Bishop.
Yeah. Okay. So Eleanor hired her, and then that's when they brought in Kingpin. I gotta say, the only disappointing part about this entire episode was like that was a really weird picture of Kingpin.
Yeah, it was a weird way to introduce him back into the MCU, like officially. I mean, obviously, I'm sure he'll get a cool scene next week when he's like fully introduced, but to just show a weird low-res picture of him, I guess it was a video, but I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Yelena is like up with the times, but it looked like a mannequin.
I mean, she did miss 5 years. Maybe she's rocking an iPhone 7 or something.
Maybe, possibly, or some kind of, or even before then, she actually might have one of an older phone for, the ones that don't necessarily, the burner phones. People can't really track around. I really don't know, but I was like, I don't know. She was texting pretty fast there for yeah, it was, or like maybe with some old BlackBerry or something.
What I want to know about who hired Elaine is where I forget her name, but I'm just gonna call her Elaine. Where her character comes into play.
Elaine,
the Valentina or something. The one who showed her the Hawkeye picture at the end of Black Widow.
Oh yeah. The girl, the woman who's doing the Thunderbolts. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know where she comes into play. Was it Eleanor Bishop that reached out to her? Was it the other way around? I want to know what their relationship is.
Yeah, because I want, and especially with Eleanor, like, why is she putting that head after Hawkeye? Like,
she's obviously very powerful. She has her own private security company, and she just can kind of use that to gain power and just kind of lock people up like she did with Jack. And pretty much confirmed. Yeah, it's pretty much confirmed that she was the one that ratted out Jack and framed him in the first place by putting that he worked for that company that he mentioned he has never heard of. Because I feel like obviously at the beginning they were setting it up to where Jack was supposed to be the red herring, the bad guy that we thought was supposed to be the bad guy, but he's just been kind of loosening up so much to us, and he's just becoming like the happy-go-lucky just stepdad. He's becoming too likable, so they're just kind of having him be the red herring that ends up being framed, and we're gonna feel pretty bad.
Yeah, maybe it's very strange because obviously, like, I guess you would think Echo is like the big bad, but they start to kind of humanize her. So I wonder if it is Kate's mom. It seems like it's Kate's mom, not even Yelena. Yeah. It's Kate's mom and Kingpin who are kind of like pulling all the strings. Like you said, it doesn't seem that Jack's very in the loop in a way, because there's something up with
even with Echo, like her second hand man, Kazi. He's obviously also got some sketchy stuff going on because he wasn't there when her dad died, and she's starting to question that.
Oh yeah, that's right. And he's like, she's like, I didn't get the call or something like that.
So it's definitely setting up a lot for the Echo series that they have. Like, you can kind of see the outline where she is going to confront Kingpin, and that's going to be a big part of the series, and just kind of her journey into finding out what actually happened.
It is very fishy. There's it's not like a lot of questions like there is with like Loki, or especially with WandaVision, because there's so much going on in those shows. But I think this is shaping up to be a very interesting story. And after they I just wish that Kingpin had a better introduction, because they kept referring him to as like the big guy. And towards the very end, once they kind of like that was like a pseudo introduction, because like they kept like hinting that he was coming back, and we got a really good nice little him pinching little baby Maya's cheeks. So it's very it's weird, but I like how they started playing You're a Mean One.
Yeah, great Kingpin song.
Yeah, for sure. I just wish it was more of a something else instead of just
kind of like last week with the Yelena reveal. It just kind of felt lackluster because first of all, we knew it was coming, and second of all, she just kind of doesn't really say anything.
Yeah, and we knew she was coming even after, even before Kevin Feige didn't even have to tell us that Yelena was going to be in Hawkeye. We would have made that decision. We could have saw that when Black Widow came out after the post-credit scene, because we knew Hawkeye was coming. I was like, oh, like she's going to be after him in that show. Like, it would have been a big speculation, not like necessarily confirmed, but yeah, I see what you mean for sure. But yeah, overall, like any final thoughts you had before we get on out of here?
Any predictions? What's going to go down?
Man, oh man, for some reason, I think we're going to see Daredevil.
It would make sense. This group of characters is all very connected.
Yeah, maybe Daredevil, or it's probably not going to happen because it didn't happen last time. No Spider-Man in New York City again. Saddens me. But
I might put in a bold prediction here. I think Clint might die.
I think Clint might die.
Yeah.
Really?
He's at the end of his road. That phone call in this episode to his wife seemed like kind of a goodbye. I don't know.
It was
he seems a little worried.
Yeah,
because he's like, it keeps escalating, and he's just kind of keeps trying to deal with it, but it keeps getting bigger, and more people are getting involved.
It has escalated a lot, and Kate's kind of been thrown in the middle, and it was kind of like he was calling her to use permission to use the Ronin suit again, which is pretty interesting. And she was like, no matter what, I think his wife had said, no matter what happens, I'll be the only person who like ever like understands like your actions for doing this. So yeah, it's crazy stuff. But, and even when he's kind of pseudo talking to Natasha's quote unquote grave, but the the memorial that they had at the takes out his hearing aid. It's nice because it really shows that like they're really pushing that, like, hey, you know, we didn't just kill off Natasha Romanoff for nothing. It wasn't just for shock value. Like there was a reason, and I think it works. I think it works 100%. It is very.
I was definitely expecting Yelena to show up behind him and just attack.
I was waiting for either Yelena or Echo to pop up, especially Echo. I was like, oh man, something's gonna happen. I'm like, oh no, it was just a nice little moment. So definitely one of the best episodes we've gotten.
I feel like there might be an Echo team up next week because I think she's gonna start to realize that it is becoming too big. And they should end it.
And I mean, Kingpin definitely. I mean, he's gonna, you know, use and, you know, cut everyone out of his life that he doesn't really need anymore.
Yeah, because they mentioned when they first showed her dad in that scene in her bedroom, he mentioned how much he was in debt and how much it was debilitating for him. So that might be why Kingpin kind of called a hit on him.
Yeah, maybe it's very, you know, Maya's starting to ask questions, and yeah, I definitely think that. I think, you know, the Echo spinoff is definitely going to have Daredevil. I think we see Daredevil next week. I definitely think we see Daredevil next week for sure. But I mean, like I said, I could be wrong, but it is what it is. But
so we both got a bold prediction out there. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We got to see something. But then again, maybe. I mean, I think they might just want to focus on Kingpin. So paths are crossing, and that's all I have to say. But let's get out of here, Devin. What would you give Hawkeye episode 5 rating wise?
I would give this one about a 92.
92.
Just really quality overall.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, the writing in this one was very well done, especially the macaroni scene and the intro scene. Just give me more Yelena. That's all I asked for.
She was macaroni. I was like, oh, are you done? Can I put hot sauce on this? I love hot sauce.
She's a sriracha girl. I love it.
It's like a kid in the candy store. She wants to visit the Empire State Building and all. So it's, you know, I really like how, like, she was being genuine towards Kate, but Kate thought she was like screwing around with her. She was like,
and some Rockefeller Center foreshadowing. I think there's some scenes in the finale that around that big tree that we're gonna see.
Yeah. Oh, they definitely has to. I mean, a lot of the, you know, things that happen in, you know, the MCU really do suck around New York. So it's very
Also, I'm gonna be really sad if Grills dies.
I will be too. The best LARPer in town,
because they're definitely hyping him up to have a very sad death.
Yeah. So you think either? I also think Kate's mom will probably die. Maybe.
Well, either that, or she gets thrown in prison, or she moves on to become a bigger bad.
Maybe, or someone gets involved with the power broker.
Maybe.
Could be that too. I don't know. I really like, you know, I mean, the MCU movies are great, but I really like the smaller grounded stories where, you know, we get to see these small interconnections that have, and hopefully will have bigger payoffs down the line. But yeah, I'm going to go the 92 out of 100 as well. Thought it was really, really great. Great dialogue, great action overall. So yeah, so it's been a great ride so far. So man, oh man, that pretty much concludes our episode here of Hawkeye episode 5 titled Ronin. Definitely go check out our other episodes of Hawkeye that we've been covering this past few weeks, honestly. And you know, go check. We've been covering a lot of TV, actually a lot more TV than I expected this year. But we're all here for it. We got to cover all the MCU goodness, and you know, it's shaping up to be a pretty good show for sure. But man, oh man, what is coming up on the podcast, Devin? We have a lot of stuff. So we are doing our franchise revisited for The Matrix. Definitely go check out our past 2 episodes of the first 2 Matrix movies that we had. Leo Rydell from Geekly Goods joined us last week. Last a few days ago. Sorry, not last week. Man, oh man, I'm all over the place. When we did Matrix Reloaded, definitely gonna pump out Matrix Evolutions for you guys as soon as we humanly can. Definitely we want to pump that out before we see Matrix Resurrections, Matrix 4. But as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing a lot of Spider-Man coverage. The MCU talk has not ended yet. So we have our Spider-Man No Way Home non-spoiler review. It's going to be dropping on December 16th. Again, that's non-spoiler, spoiler-free. I'll just say spoiler-free coverage of Spider-Man No Way Home, December 16th. And then we're actually going to drop our spoiler-heavy review on December 20th. And then next week, of course, we'll be closing out Hawkeye. We got Hawkeye and Matrix Resurrections. We'll be watching next week. We might wait until the week after to drop that one out because there's a lot going on between that and Kingsman. And, we're going to be closing out the year with Don't Look Up. It comes out Christmas Eve. So that'll be our final review of coverage, actually, of the podcast for this year. And, I'll be probably uploading a small little update because we are going to be taking a little bit of a break for about 2 weeks in January to get everything set up because we are moving to a new podcast platform. For all the listeners out there, you don't have to worry about a single thing. This is something more on our side so we can use more resources to get our content out to you guys in different ways. And, just kind of grow the podcast all together and just have some more fun with it. So definitely keep a lookout for that, So as soon as December 30th, probably 31st, around there, 30th and 31st, we're not going to be uploading for at least 2 weeks. I believe January 14th is where we're going to be coming back on to the podcast. So we'll miss you guys for sure, but I'll try to keep small little updates in there from time to time to let you guys know what's going on. So yeah, we probably pretty much won't be back until like January 13th when Scream 5 comes out. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So this is a few things coming up on a podcast. I'll probably reiterate from later on. Excuse me, cannot talk right now. But yeah, that's pretty much the long and short of it. Like I said, if you are enjoying our franchise revisited of The Matrix, go definitely check out our Harry Potter movie series review that is up on the podcast right now. We went through all 8 movies, had a great time, some amazing guests, some amazing takes. So yeah, that pretty much does it for today. Man, oh man, Devin, let's get on out of here. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.